Every year, hundreds of thousands of people come to Monticello here in Charlottesville to learn about American history, and for some, to connect with their family history.
I am Gayle Jessup White. I'm Public Relations and Community Engagement Officer here at Monticello.
Gayle Jessup White is no stranger to the history of Monticello.
Little children, 8, 9, 10 years old, made the bricks that built Monticello. Go ahead and put your finger in.
But the home of the third president of the United States of America isn't just her office.
I'm descendant from Thomas Jefferson.
Jessup White isn't just any employee at Monticello. She first heard she was related to Thomas Jefferson when she was just 13 years old. A huge surprise then, especially because Jefferson was her favorite president at the time.
I couldn't put together in my 13-year-old mind how a little black kid growing up in Washington, D.C. could be related to the third president of the United States of America.
This set off a decades-long search for the truth of her history. But while she thought she was a descendant of Jefferson and Sally Hemings, a woman he had enslaved and had children with, she learned later she was actually descended from Jefferson and his wife Martha through one of their great-grandsons, and
I'm also descended, I learned, from a brother of Sally Hemings whose name was Peter Hemings.
Peter Hemings was enslaved at Monticello, working as a cook, a tailor, and a master brewer, working in the rooms she now walks through generations later.
So this space for me is hallowed ground because I know my great-great-great-grandfather was here.
Like many other descendants of those enslaved at Monticello, Jessup White first learned of her family line through oral history, passed down from generation to generation. Many of these stories do not focus on their ancestors' enslavement, though it certainly casts a large shadow.
I feel their sacrifice, I feel their suffering, but I also feel their joy.
They chose instead to talk about their family members, people that they know, places that they know.
For decades now, historians like Andrew Davenport have worked to preserve these oral histories from those enslaved at Monticello, to paint a more complete picture of the experiences of those enslaved, and of the slave owner, Thomas Jefferson.
Each of them speak to personal flaws of Jefferson. Each of them speak to personal qualities of great brilliance in Jefferson.
Davenport, the director of the Getting Word Oral History Project, says the more than 200 oral history interviews collected from people enslaved by Jefferson show a complex figure, the writer of the Declaration of Independence declaring all men to be created equal, yet a slave owner who owned more than 600 people during his lifetime.
We can look a historical figure in the eye and understand that they are flawed and brilliant at the same time, and doing both, I think, will be our gift to the American public moving forward.
And that's hard to deal with. That's hard to face, especially since I admired him so, and especially since his blood runs through my veins.
But Jessup White says learning about Jefferson's complicated history and the stories of those he enslaved has helped her come to terms with who they were, not as mythological figures, but as human beings.
My ancestors literally built Monticello. Those people, my ancestors, made Monticello work, and they represent the millions of people enslaved in the United States of America.
For Jessup White, her search for the truth has led her to not only find her ancestors, but also current relatives, some working just down the street, like Andrew.
He's my cousin.
My great-great-grandfather and her great-grandmother are siblings.
It's been a journey spanning decades, but Jessup White hopes sharing her family's story will help future generations better understand Thomas Jefferson and the history of this country, and continue the work of honoring the enslaved people and their role in shaping America.
Discovering this history has made me whole. It's given me a family, it's given me roots, and it's given me joy.
That work is still continuing. Just earlier this year, Monticello held a rededication ceremony for the burial ground for enslaved people. This came after a 4-year project that was guided by the descendants of the people enslaved at Monticello. In Charlottesville, I'm Dennis Ting for VPM News Focal Point.
Thank you for watching. Continue to follow Virginia news and stories by subscribing to our VPM YouTube channel.